Hey, what's up triathletes? Taren here. You asked, and today I'm going to answer the most common questions that I get about how to get faster, stronger, and what the best gear is to buy. Stick around for it. So across Instagram, Snapchat, and in the YouTube comments, I get a lot of the same questions about the same sorts of things. So today, I'm going to go through about a half dozen questions that are some of the most common ones that I get out there. Now the first one from Christian Andretti on YouTube. What is the best way to save time applying sunscreen for Olympic distance races? I'm assuming, Christian, that you mean what is the best way to save time in a race? Because why would you want to save time before the race actually starts? I don't know. I always recommend that people take the first 5 to 10 minutes of the bike and the run just to settle into the sport and let your body get used to it. During that time, you don't need to be going too fast, so this is a really good time to put on sunscreen. Slather that stuff on. Problem solved. Next one is from Charisma Anata on YouTube. Does it have AntiFog inside, and why people say that AntiFog is the biggest lie in swimming? So this person is asking about AntiFog in the Swedish goggle review that I did. Do they have AntiFog coating inside? No. Swedish goggles are about as cheap as it gets. And why do people say that AntiFog is the biggest lie in swimming? Yeah, because it's pure crap. Even the fancy $30, $40, $50 goggles that I've tried out and reviewed on the channel, they still fog up. The best anti-fog trick that I've ever found is get some really light hand soap on the inside of each goggle, swish it around, and I'm talking so light that you don't even have to rinse it out. And that's actually been the best anti-fog remedy that I've ever tried. And it's so good that certain people I know, I'm not gonna name names, Chris, have stolen like a Tupperware's full of the stuff from the pool because it's like magic pink hand soap. It's freaking awesome. Try that. The next question is from my buddy the Weekender 25, who says, is a Canadian triathlon suit made of denim? Yes. And it has suspenders to keep it aero. Thank you very much, the Weekender 25. The next one is from Kenneth Lewis, who's talking about being in the middle of losing weight. First off, awesome job, Kenneth. Still has about 40 pounds to lose, so I'm having to do tons of strength training, and it got me thinking about strength training while triathlon training. He's curious about my thoughts. Thanks. Thank you, Kenneth. Well, the thing about strength training in triathlon is that yes, it's critical to do, but only in certain times of the year. You should do all of your strength training during the off season. You do it in the winter because there's such a heavy load placed on your body during triathlon race season and with strength training that if you're doing both at the same time, you're gonna cause more damage than your body can handle. So what we tend to do is do our heavier weights in the winter, and then as race season comes up, we start backing off the weights and we get more into maintenance mode, doing body weight exercises, mobility exercises that just maintains a lot of that strength that we built up through the winter. Next question from Anthony Davis. Hey Taren, new subscriber here. Woo! And I'm just getting into triathlons. Do you recommend mixing weight training into training? Is it better practice to do pure endurance training? Okay, number one, see the last question. Number two, something that you can do for maintenance with your endurance training is a little bit of strength training, especially during the race season. So you can add on a bike some heavy gear work that is like 60 and 70 type cadence. On a run, we're talking about sprints of 50 or 100 meters, and in a swim, do some paddle work. So it's still strength training, but it's very specific to the sports that you're doing. A lot of strength training today. A lot of strength training. A lot of people worried about strength training. Jan Gotti, not John Gotti, asks, I'm about to do my first triathlon at the end of August. I was looking at some clothes to buy. I'm a bit lost with buying a full tri-suit or top and bottom separately. I also saw that some tri-suits have a front zip or a rear zip. It would be great if you could tell me what you usually use and some tips. Well, I am probably the last person to give fashion advice. If you watch these videos, pretty much all I wear is t-shirts. I don't do that for YouTube. That's about all I wear. And it isn't much different for triathlon with me. I use some compression triathlon shorts and a one-piece triathlon top that's separate with a front zip. I actually got it for free from a buddy. And I'm not too fussy about what triathlon gear I wear because I'm not trying to shave off a lot of seconds. Now, if you want to get as fast as you possibly can, then you can start looking into aerodynamic, one-piece, compression, cooling, custom fit, like super duper expensive triathlon gear. But those are for the people that are looking at turning pro, looking at qualifying for Kona, where every last second counts. If you're just getting into the sport, it really doesn't matter. Buy something cheap that is comfortable for you. If you feel like you look like a goof in a one piece, which I did in my first race because I thought I needed a one piece, don't use a one piece. If you feel a little bit more comfortable in a two piece, go with a two piece. Front zip, rear zip. I find that it isn't really gonna make a difference unless you start getting into those elite levels. So as a beginner, just wear something that's comfortable that isn't gonna break the bank. And the last question we're gonna hit up today is from my buddy Chandler_U_Smith, who asked me on Instagram. I have to ask, do you have any experience with Asics for a running shoe? Recently into running and I need a new pair of kicks, but the people at the running store here told me that I need to find a shoe that gives me more support in my feet because I have low arches. Not super low, but I have some. Do you have any experience on this? Well, Chandler, I have a lot and I am gonna get on my soapbox for this. The idea of overpronation, stability shoes, underpronation, supination, I'm not gonna go as far as saying it's crap, but it's pretty close to crap. Everyone has different biomechanics that they overpronate, underpronate, supinate, and the best running stride for everyone is whatever our body naturally wants to do. One of the issues that I have when running stores say that people need to buy stability shoes or arch support, or they're trying to put a band-aid on something that isn't really broken. Yes, you can get injured by poor biomechanics, but you know what? A shoe isn't going to fix your biomechanics. That's the way that your body wants to move. So when I first got into running, I was told the same thing. I'm an overpronator and I was told that I needed stability shoes, and what happened? I got injured over and over and over again. Eventually, what I realized by going to a really good physiotherapist was that my body structure wasn't strong enough to compensate for my biomechanics of overpronating. So I ended up strengthening myself and going to a more minimal shoe so that my body could get used to my normal biomechanics, and then my injuries magically went away because you know what? I made myself stronger, fitter, and healthier, and I didn't try to get a shoe on my foot to fix that. So my problem with running stores, it's like giving a really quick, so tough answer that is what they need. I'm gonna go ahead and get off my soapbox now. I feel like I got a little bit worked up there. Well, there you have it. Thank you for tuning in to this first edition of Taren's Triathlon Q&A. I'm gonna have to come up with a better name for that. Something zippy. Let me know in the comments below if you have any questions or if you've got an idea for what I should call this Q&A segment. I'm open to suggestions on that. If you have a question about anything triathlon related, by all means, hit me up in the comments below or connect with me on social media. As always, happy and hard training and good luck in your next triathlon.